We are taught from a young age that working hard and saving pennies is the path to security. Yet millions of people follow those rules perfectly for decades and still end up broke at the end of the journey. That is because the standard advice to park your cash safely in a bank account is a mathematical trap. This chart shows the reality of that safety. While top banks offer yields as low as 0.5%, the standard inflation rate averages around 2.5%. Your purchasing power doesn't just sit still, it starts to plummet. While cash loses its intrinsic value, the prices of physical assets, businesses, and equities tend to rise exponentially to match that inflation. A bank is a place to park money while it decays. It was never designed to be a place where wealth is actually generated. Achieving financial independence requires unlearning these myths. The system is rigged to benefit the institutions, and to win, you have to play by a hidden set of rules. To find these hidden rules, we have to look at the source of the dollar itself, the institutions that control the supply. Banking operates on a system of fractional reserves. This gives every bank in the country the legal right to create new money out of thin air based on the deposits you leave with them. Deposit $1,000, and the bank keeps just 10% in reserve. They take the remaining $900 and loan it to someone else, charging massive interest, up to 20%. They generate a fortune using your seed money. For an average employee, borrowing is expensive because the bank sees them as a risk. But for someone like Mark Zuckerberg, the risk disappears. Because he has billions in assets to act as collateral, banks will compete to give him a mortgage rate of just 1%. While high-interest debt traps the poor, this cheap leverage acts as an accelerator for the rich. It allows them to use the bank's money while their own cash stays invested in assets that outpace inflation. You cannot trade your time for money forever. You have to plant trees, assets that continue to generate income even when you're not there. Warren Buffett has spent over half a century mastering this long-term strategy. He ignores market noise to focus on a few specific business traits. He stays away from complicated tech fads. Instead, he looks for simple business models that even a child could understand. Companies selling products that people buy habitually. Coca-Cola is the prime example. It satisfies a basic human need, first, and customers return to buy it every single day, regardless of the economy. Gillette follows the same logic. People will always need to shave, and the power of a recognizable brand ensures they keep coming back for decades. These enduring companies go on sale during financial crises. While most people panic, the largest wealth transfers happen when these resilient assets become severely undervalued. True wealth isn't built by gambling or chasing trends. It is built by ownership, patiently accumulating these recurring consumer habits when everyone else is afraid. All the mathematical knowledge in the world is useless if you cannot control your own behavior. As people start to earn more, they often start to spend more. They buy expensive cars and bigger houses to mask insecurities or chase social acceptance, creating a cycle of lifestyle creep that keeps them poor despite a high salary. This is compounded by the sunk cost fallacy. People often cling to terrible financial decisions, like keeping a car they don't need or funding a dying business, simply because they've already spent money on them and refuse to admit the mistake. The banking system and the inflation rate are external obstacles, but the most direct threat to your wealth is internal. It is the ego that demands status symbols and the lack of discipline required to live below your means. There is one final, crucial factor that makes the entire financial machine work: the physics of time. Because of compounding, the earlier you start planting your assets, the smaller your initial investment needs to be. A few $1,000s invested early can grow into millions as the interest begins to build upon itself. There is no magical finish line where the work stops. Real wealth requires lifelong management, constant learning, and the ability to adapt as the world changes. Financial freedom is the result of unlearning societal myths and planting your seeds as early as possible. If you have the patience to stay disciplined, you can let the math do the heavy lifting for the rest of your life.